mothers, fathers, siblings, children. I have a young daughter and a young son and cannot imagine the hell that you guys have gone through. And we're here to fight for you. That's why I'm here. That's why my Republican colleagues are here. But I think the most difficult and perhaps the most poignant aspect of all of this is that it was all preventable. That the left's open borders were, I think most stingingly, a part of a deliberate policy to influence our elections, even at the expense of American families. An attempt to flood our country with illegal aliens, to distort congressional representation, to provide a pathway for them to vote, all part of a political program that was not just deeply cynical, but absolutely grotesque. And the American people rejected it. And the American people want to live in a country where mothers can go jogging in the morning and not have to worry about an illegal alien murdering or raping them in our communities, where husbands can go to work and not have their wages suppressed by a massive influx of illegal aliens, where children can go to schools that are not flooded with some of the most deadly narcotics that have ever been created in all of history. That's what we're here for. You guys are the people, the families that we're fighting for the American people. American families, and you in particular, have experienced some of the most indescribable hardships. And we're deeply sorry for that. We're deeply sorry for what the left has put you through. And that's why we're here to fight for you. That's why I'm here. That's why my colleagues are here. So with that said, thank you guys for being here. We love you guys. We see you. We're praying for you. And we're going to keep fighting for you. So with that said, I'd like to introduce Representative Mary Miller as well.
Thank you. First of all, I want to recognize the extraordinary courage of the Angel families here. I cannot imagine your pain. I've had multiple families come into my office and we've wept together. I've kept in contact with them, and as of yet, no Democrat has ever reached out to help or offer condolences. No parent, spouse, or child should ever have to carry the pain that you live with. And we gather here today because your loved ones should still be with you. The tragedy these families are enduring was preventable. Tragic and preventable. If sanctuary states like Illinois had upheld the rule of law instead of shielding murderers and rapists, lives would have been saved and families would not be grieving today. Instead of correcting these failures, Democrats chose to double down and to hold the Department of Homeland Security hostage, the very agency tasked with protecting our nation. They will gamble with our security to score ideological points that are completely unacceptable. Their decisions have real consequences for real people whose lives have been forever changed. Their stories matter, and the pain must never be ignored. Thankfully, President Trump has been a steadfast advocate for the families. He has stood unapologetically on the side of law-abiding Americans. He's fought to secure the border, back our law enforcement, and put victims and their families first. Tonight, the entire country will hear directly from our president. During the State of the Union, he will outline what we've accomplished to restore safety, enforce our laws, and deport criminal, illegal aliens who threaten our communities. But the fight is not over. To the families that are here today, you are not forgotten and you are not alone. I carry your stories with me, and I will not rest, because every life is sacred and every preventable loss is a call to act. For your families and for the safety of every community, for the future of our country, we will keep fighting until our laws are enforced and our communities are safe. Thank you, and I want to turn it over to Sandy Snodgrass.
Thank you. passion. Look at you down.
Good afternoon. My name is Nicole Kipralov, and I'm the Executive Director of the American Border Story. Our organization was created to tell the stories of the victims of illegal immigration. And for the past year, we have been working directly with the Angel families across this country whose loved ones were killed as a result of open border policies. We are so incredibly grateful to Chairman Pfluger, Chairwoman Lisa McClain, and the Republican Study Committee and all of the representatives here today for creating space for these families to be heard. Angel families, these angel moms and sisters, have been fighting to have their voices heard for literally decades. And for the first time in a long time, as a result of all of your efforts and this historic administration with President Trump as the leader, we are a lot closer to justice. As Representative Hamadeh mentioned yesterday, President Trump signed an historic proclamation designating February 22nd as National Angel Family Day to forever commemorate the victims of illegal immigration. The American Border Story was so proud to bring 100 Angel family members to the White House for this emotional ceremony. In December, we were so honored to sponsor the American Border Story Memorial Act introduced by Representative Hamadeh to create a permanent memorial in Washington, D.C. to honor all of the victims of illegal immigration. These gut-wrenching stories are not abstract. This is not a theoretical fight, and these families are not partisan talking points. This is all personal. Today, you will hear from Bonnie Driscoll, whose daughter, Lacey Marie Ferguson, was shot in the head by an illegal alien. You will hear from Robbie Volkamer, sister of Gregory Errol Homola, who was riding his motorcycle in Illinois when an intoxicated illegal alien with, this was said, 3 prior DUI convictions pulled out in front of him and killed him. 3 prior DUIs, multiple chances to remove someone who never should have been in this country in the first place. You will also hear from Sandy Snodgrass, whose son Bruce Snodgrass died in Alaska after ingesting a fentanyl-laced pill, part of the wave of illicit fentanyl that has poured across our borders and into communities thousands of miles away as a result of the Biden administration's reckless open border policies. Since Bruce's death, Sandy has turned her grief into action, and most recently, she passed Bruce's Law, a federal statute named in her son's memory and signed into law by President Trump to combat fentanyl. You'll also hear from Agnes Giboney, whose son Ronald Da Silva was murdered in California by a previously deported criminal illegal alien. Previously deported, allowed back in. I've had the great honor and privilege to know Agnes over the year, and I can tell you she is like family to us. The courage and strength that all of you possess is something I have never seen in my life before, and I will keep saying that. But you know, it's interesting because these families, they don't want to be this strong. They just want their loved ones back. These are not random accidents. In case after case, there were prior offenses, prior deportations, and prior opportunities to enforce the law. And instead, Democrats' weak enforcement created these preventable tragedies. And for years, we've heard rhetoric about compassion and human rights. But where is the human right of an American citizen to live safely in her own country? And where is the compassion for the mother who buries her child? There is nothing compassionate about illegal immigration. There is nothing humane about lawlessness, and there is nothing controversial about enforcing immigration law. Chairman Pfluger, representatives, thank you again so much for giving these families a platform. And we at the American Border Story, we will never stop fighting until there isn't a single family who has to endure this devastating loss ever again. And with that, I'd like to introduce our first angel mom, Bonnie Driscoll. Sandy Snodgrass. Thank you.
Thank you.
She's ready.
Hi, my name's Sandy Snodgrass. I'd like to thank the chairman for allowing me to speak today. You know, we were talking before this press conference, and we came up with a little plan that perhaps the Democrats that aren't going to attend the State of the Union could give their seats to some of these angel families that don't have tickets tonight. Maybe we could fill those seats of people that do want to hear our president say what he has to say about what he's done and what he's going to do to save American lives. I'm very interested in hearing what he has to say tonight. I'm lucky enough to be able to go. I don't understand not going. So my son, the boy in the mountains, that boy in the mountains was an Alaskan boy. He was an outdoorsman, avid outdoorsman. He loved Alaska. The phone call that I expected to get was that he had fallen off a mountain. He was a free solo mountain climber. That's the phone call I expected to get about that boy. That's not the call I got. October 26, 2021, I got a call from the police that he had died from a fentanyl poisoning in Anchorage, less than a mile from our home. I'd heard the word fentanyl. Never in my wildest imaginings could I imagine that it have gotten to that boy in that community, thousands and thousands and thousands of miles away from the border. How is that possible? I couldn't accept it. I don't accept it. And I've been fighting ever since I got that toxicology report back in January of 2022. I've been fighting fentanyl. I cannot bring back my child. I cannot save my child's life. I work every day to save other American children with awareness, prevention, demand reduction, interdiction, treatment. It takes all of those things to face fentanyl. The only thing I can do is tell my story. My boy in those mountains found a pill that killed him instantly. He was 30 feet away from a McDonald's drive-thru where his body was found. He was not able to call out for help. 30 feet away, he dropped dead from taking that fentanyl that day. He didn't know it was fentanyl. He was, tricked. So what to do now? I, testified in front of Homeland Security Committee when Mayorkas was still in power about what Mayorkas was or wasn't doing, and nothing changed, He was impeached, nothing changed. Now we have President Trump. Day one, President Trump designated drug cartels as terrorist organizations. We saw proof of that Sunday. Let's take the fight to them. We need to take the fight to them. We're tired. I am tired of talking to parents. I talked to a parent this morning, another parent, car fentanyl, Anchorage, Alaska. We experienced a mass poisoning event in late November. People dying from car fentanyl in Anchorage, Alaska. Car fentanyl is 10 times stronger than regular fentanyl. The Chinese Communist Party has not stood down. The Mexican drug terrorist organizations have not stood down. They're sending more deadly fentanyl and more deadly combinations of fentanyl analogs into this country. Car fentanyl, 10 times stronger than regular fentanyl. Mass poisoning, Anchorage, Alaska, late November. This fight is far from over, and I will not stop fighting. Every chance I get to talk about fentanyl and what the Chinese Communist Party is doing, what drug terrorist organizations, mostly out of Mexico, are doing to our country, intentionally killing our citizens inside our sovereign borders, is not okay. And I know that President Trump feels the same. 2 weeks after I was in his office when he signed Bruce's law, he designated He designated fentanyl a weapon of mass destruction, and that's what it is. It killed 70,000 Americans last year. If that's not a weapon of mass destruction, I don't know what is. Inside our sovereign border, this is happening. President Trump, I know, will not stand for it. I will not stand for it. Anything that I can do to
against foreign and domestic invaders. I wish there would be a clause in the Constitution to say any politician that goes against the Constitution or American laws would be removed from office, because 3/4 of this Congress would be removed. Thank you, everyone who supports us. I really appreciate it. And no parent should ever have to go to a cemetery to celebrate their child's birthday like I do for almost 24 years. Last month was my son's 53rd birthday. And it's horrible to take a little cake to put on a gravesite, to put a candle and wish my son happy birthday, not even be able to buy him a gift for his birthday. And just wonder, what would life have been? But my son wasn't the only victim of this gang member that murdered my son. My only sibling died 4 months after my son was killed from a massive stroke, from the incredible stress that he was feeling for me. My father wanted to die for 11 years. All he said, I want to die, I want to be with Ronald. And then 2 years later, my mother died. I'm a very proud Hungarian. But I am more proud to be an American citizen, and I hold every single Republican, every single congressman and woman in office fully responsible for every single death that occurs in this country, because you are not doing what you're supposed to be doing, is upholding the law. We don't need immigration reform. Just obey the laws that we have. My family could obey, so can anybody else. God bless this country. God bless President Trump. And thank you, Nicole, for giving us a voice, and Brandon, Tabs, for the American Border Story, for putting our stories out there. I love you guys as my family, because you guys gave us a voice, and President Trump gave us a voice. He has never forgotten us. Thanks to Tom Homan for doing a tough job, and especially to my beautiful DHS Secretary, Kristi Noem. She is doing the job that a man should have done, the previous administration, Alejandro Mayorkas. Shame on you. You ought to disappear, because nobody wants to see your face anymore. But it's taking a woman to take care of business. Thank you, God bless you, and God bless United States of America. Oh, I'm sorry. Now I would like to introduce Bonnie Driscoll.
Hello, my name is Bonnie Driscoll, Angel Mom Bonnie Driscoll. I'm here with my granddaughter, Haley. She was 3 years old on her birthday the night her mother was shot. Her mother went to a store. 2 men pulled in that parking lot and just decided to shoot people. We had to fight from 2003 to 2018 for a conviction. We finally got that. That was 7 years ago. What we're looking at now, he received 61 to life plus life, because he shot other people also. They are now trying to schedule his parole. He wasn't supposed to have one, ever, after 3 life sentences plus guaranteed 61. California has a parole program, an elderly parole program. They started out putting online that it would be 2039. They moved it to 2034. They have now moved that to 2029, which will be 10 years of a 3 life sentence. And they're talking about letting him old because he's not an American citizen. And of course, 54 is elderly. I mean, geez, you know. The bottom line is I'm not going to sugarcoat this anymore. We fought like hell to get to have a conviction. to have an arrest, a conviction. We did everything as a family we could. It is time that we get help with this. Whether it be Republicans, Democrats need to get off their butt. Republicans, I'll say it, somebody needs to grow a backbone. We need help. I see other families who lose their loved ones in the most horrific ways, over and over and over. Everything from rape, homicide, and any other ugly thing you can imagine. Why do we have to keep seeing this? It's like a revolving door. Those borders need to be closed. People need to be arrested or sent back to the country of their origin where they have prisons for them. I don't know what to do with them, but as an American citizen, I understand we have criminals here. Why the hell are we importing more? I mean, you got to ask yourself, why are we importing more of them? And and you got to ask, why are the Democrats fighting so hard to keep those undesirable people here? When it cost me my child, it cost her her child, cost her her brother, her child. I can go on and on. I have met so freaking many angel parents. It is just ludicrous what is occurring in this country. It needs to stop. And the only person I've seen stop it, and I'll be honest, the only politician I've actually see doing something is President Trump. He's the only one that noticed us. We had the door slammed in our face numerous times. I've been doing this since 2003. You have no idea how hard it is to get just the simple things that should be done after you walk through hell. And you folks are elected to take care of these things. Start taking care of these things. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, we gotta go.
Okay. Thank you.
Well, first of all, it's really my pleasure to be here with these angel moms, angel family members. And to the angel moms and angel families across America, the first thing as a Republican member from Florida is that we stand with you. Myself, Chip Roy, who's standing behind me, a couple of our colleagues who had to leave, we were here during the Biden years where our border was wide open for no reason at all except politics. And it was politics of the worst kind, politics that wanted to allow for more than 10 million illegal aliens to come into this country so that Democrats could have new voters and that they can play with our census and all kind of other crazy stuff. But what happened in our country is that we had young girls and young boys have their life snuffed and taken away from them because of the radical Democratic left policies. Policies, by the way, that they still support today. Donald Trump has done the job he was elected to do. He secured the border. He shut it down on day one. Now we're going through the hard work of having to deport criminal illegal aliens and other illegal aliens out of the United States. My friend Chip and I, we were there making sure that the money was there for ICE and the Department of Homeland Security to do their job. They just got that money about 6 months ago. So I know people want to see these things ramp up, but sending people out of the country takes just as much time as letting them all in. But we are doing that work. We are consistent in that work. But make no mistake about it, the Democrats on Capitol Hill, Democrats around America, they want to stop us from keeping this nation secure so that other family members do not have to go through what these fine women have had to go through in their families up on this stage. It is grotesque. But we are not going to be deterred. We are going to be steadfast. We're going to be committed because you cannot have a nation if you cannot secure it. And we are going to make sure that the United States of America is secure. We would ask the American people to continue to stand with us every step of the way to make sure that is not just a thought, not just an idea, not just a promise, but a reality in America.
Thank you. Step here real quick, man. I'm going to be very quick because we have to go vote. We should not have to have angel moms and angel families. We shouldn't have to have that. But the policies of the previous administration, and frankly, policies now for decades, have allowed that to happen. And I could sit here and talk about Alexis Nungaray, Jocelyn's mom, who was my guest to the inauguration last year. I could talk about the other families. I could talk about Rachel Marin's family, and they testified in front of the Judiciary Committee. I could talk about Laken Riley's family. I could talk about the families that I've gotten to know in Texas who lost their children to fentanyl poisoning, the 7 in the school district where my kids live in 1 year alone, the number of kids that had to be resuscitated from Narcan. All of this stuff was created by the bedlam at the border that these ladies have articulated better than I could. It was purposeful. And you can't even put into words how people who are supposed to lead a country would do that to their own people. But that is what has happened. The president has secured the border when they said that we needed legislation to secure it. No, we didn't. We needed a leader who would do it and would follow the law. The president secured the border. The president is now removing bad actors. And what does the left want to do? They want to side with the people that are coming here and creating harm. It's unconscionable. Byron's right. We created the funding for Border Patrol and ICE to stand behind them so they could do their job. And I'm getting sick and tired of hearing this. Every single one of us who are civil libertarians want to make sure law enforcement do their job correctly. Nobody on this stage would say otherwise. But I'm not going to side with the bad guys over law enforcement when that was the cause of the problem in the first place and the loss of life of the American people. I'm going to stand alongside Border Patrol. I'm going to stand alongside ICE. I'm going to stand alongside the president. I'm going to stand alongside Tom Homan. I'm going to stand alongside these ladies and other families that have been impacted by the disastrous policies that created it. And one final point. We've been trying to move the ball, and more Republicans do need to step up to support the president. I just need to be blunt. We passed H.R. 2 to codify that the president is doing now in the last Congress. We should do it now. We should do it this year. The House passed the Save America Act to guarantee American citizens vote in American elections and to have voter ID at the polls, and the Senate ought to call it up and pass it. We should do more work to do the job the president is doing to codify it so no future administration can allow this to happen. I pray for these families. I pray for the families not here. I pray for those who have lost their loved ones, and I pray that our leadership will do the job that the Constitution calls on them to do, which is to secure the blessings of liberty with a secure border, secure communities, enforcement of the law. God bless you all, and thank you all for having us.
Thank you. Thank you. Who's the next one?
Sure.
Robbie?
Yes. Hi, my name is, Robbie Volkmer. And my brother is first picture there in the Marine uniform. And I will try my best to share my story here. But first I wanted to give thanks to Tabs for allowing me to have this opportunity to share my story. And I wanted to thank President Trump for the beautiful angel family ceremony that I got to attend yesterday with my niece. My story goes back to July 24th, 2011, when my brother was on a joyride on his motorcycle with my nephew and a couple other people. And Vasquez, the illegal alien, pulled out of nowhere and hit my brother, and then proceeded to hit another vehicle that had a mother and daughter who were pregnant. The daughter was pregnant. He had a blood alcohol level 3 times the legal limit. He also had 3 prior DUIs. Let that sink in. 3 prior DUIs. So the system failed us miserably over and over and over again. My nephew tried to revive my brother, but unfortunately it was too late. He was gone. Right now, Vasquez is sitting in a halfway house in Chicago, Illinois, with 3 square meals a day, a roof over his head, and a job, all on U.S. taxpayers' dime. That infuriates me, as it should every single American. So I promised my nieces and nephews that as long as I have a breath to take, I will fight to get him deported. And I'd like him deported immediately. by the system that failed myself and my family. Get him out, and get him out now. Thank you again for letting me share my story, and I hope and pray that you won't take these tears for sympathy. I don't want sympathy. I want action. I want him out, and I want the rest of these angel families to get their vindication as well. We deserve that. Enough is enough. Thank you so much.